less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
This isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a number one draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life.
WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, right here on Dayton's home of the Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Welcome back. You listen to the Keith Byars Radio Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Do you need to give me a call? If you want to give me a call, we can talk about it. Put me on Twitter. Also, the number is 937-518-1410. My Twitter handle is KAB41 is my Twitter handle. You can find me on Twitter, as well. But I want to get to the Lee's Bucket of Question. Lee's Famous Recipe Bucket of Questions of the week. We got a few questions here. You ask the questions throughout the week, and I'll answer them. And Justin's pulled a few questions off the internet that he hears to me. So Justin's my producer. So go ahead, hit me with the first question, Justin.
All right, again, it's the Lee's Bucket of Questions here on the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. I'm Justin Kinner, jumping in to assist here. Keith, the first question on the Lee's Bucket of Questions. Right now, who are your top three active college football coaches? When you think of the top college football coaches today, who are your top three?
That's a good question. How are you asking me this question? Just based on what they have or the job that they're doing? But I don't know really which way to go. I can go in numerous ways, but I'll go this way. I'm going to say, in no particular order, Nick Saban, down at Alabama, Ryan Day, here at Ohio State. And number three, Deion Sanders at Jackson State. This past season, where, they're top, first time they won double-digit games in a long time. I think they went 11-1 during the regular season after they lost in the bowl game. He's doing a heck of a job recruiting. And I didn't even want to use this word. I was going to say change the perception. He's not, they're not changing my perception of what HBCU football is. It's just been an underserved market as far as the media has gone on, So with Eddie George is doing the Tennessee State, and Deion Sanders is doing the Jackson State, amongst a host of great HBCU coaches in the past and even currently. In the past, of course, there's Eddie Robinson at Grambling, but there's a lot of great HBCU coaches that are have a tendency to be overlooked when we talk about great college coaches, and somebody who was probably close to cracking my top three, would have to say Luke Fickell as well. He's done a great job at Cincinnati.
All right, it's the Lee's Bucket of Questions here. That was question number one. Question one was, who's Keith Byars' top three active college football coaches? One more time, summarize those.
That'd be Nick Saban, Ryan Day, and Deion Sanders.
All right, good stuff. Question number two, Keith, on our Lee's Bucket of Questions. Obviously, you played for Earl Bruce at Ohio State, but when you look at the history of great coaches for the Buckeyes, if there's that one legendary coach for Ohio State that you would have loved to have played for, but obviously didn't, who would that be? Woody Hayes. Let me get Woody Hayes.
Woody. I grew up a huge Woody Hayes fan. Watching, Archie Griffin win 2 Heisman trophies and watching Woody Hayes stomp up and down that sideline. I want to play for that guy one day. He's my kind of guy. And so Woody Hayes, that's almost a layup for me. So Woody Hayes, And then Tressel, I played for Tressel. He just wasn't the head coach. So he was my position coach while I was at Ohio State. So in that order, I'll just answer the question. In that order, it would be Woody, Tressel, Ryan Day, and Urban Meyer. Outside of Earl Bruce. So very underrated Hall of Fame coach. Loved Earl Bruce. Shout out to the whole Bruce family. Yes, Earl Bruce is a great guy. The only person on that list, other than Woody Hayes, that could have replaced Woody Hayes and done the job he did. And Earl Bruce was the right man for the right job.
All right, question number 3, Keith. Again, if you're just tuning in, it is the Lee's Famous Recipe Bucket of Questions right here on the Keith Byars Show. All right, question number 3, Keith. Fox Sports, of course, they put their big primetime games at noon. They call it the Big Noon Kickoff. ESPN/ABC, they put all their big primetime games under the lights. They put it at night. I prefer the primetime under the lights game. You can put a little catchphrase on it, call it the Big Noon Kickoff all you want, but primetime games should be played under the lights, at least in my opinion. What about your opinion? Ohio State, Notre Dame, that will kick off this season under the lights in what I consider real prime time under the lights, right? But Ohio State, Notre Dame, the premier non-conference matchup of the upcoming 2022 college football season. I'm jacked that it's under the lights. There's a good chance it could have been on the Big Noon Kickoff, which I thought would have, I would not have been a fan of that. But your thoughts, being a former player, you've played many noon kickoffs, you've played many games under the lights. Which one do you prefer, especially for these big type of games? Ohio State, Notre Dame, I like that it's under the lights, but what about you? Did you have a preference? I'm sure you like playing under the lights, right? Or do you not care?
I did like playing under the lights, so I do care. But, it's almost, evolution, if you will. When you play in high school football, Friday night lights. There's been movies and TV shows about Friday night lights, and that's high school football. And then, so you have that mindset, man, I want to play on Friday night. And then when you play on Saturday, hey, man, I want to be like the college guys. College, they play at noon. They play a lot. They play on Saturday afternoon. So it's a ton of games all day Saturday afternoon. There's a few games on Saturday night, but the majority of college football is played on Saturday afternoon across the country. Not just the conference's big games are at night, but even that, the Big Ten have way more games starting at 12 and 3 o'clock than they do at night games. So you almost feel like that's a rite of passage. I'm one of the college boys, man. We play at Saturday afternoon. And then come Sunday, you're back to Sunday afternoon because the majority of the NFL games are on Sunday afternoon, save for the Monday night game, which now times have evolved. Now they have 2 night games, Sunday night with 3. Sunday night, Monday night, and Thursday night. So those are prime time, but it used to be only one prime time game when I first grew up playing. That was Monday Night Football. That was the biggest game on Saturday. And like when we played, Michigan, nobody wanted to compete against Ohio State, Michigan at Saturday at 12 o'clock. That was the game, to watch. And so I'm okay with them playing Notre Dame at night, but if they played Notre Dame at the Big Noon Kickoff, I like that as well because, there's not a lot of competition at 12 o'clock. For the Big Noon Kickoff, CBS isn't doing anything at noon. Neither is ESPN on that scale for having their preeminent game. So I thought that was a smart move by Fox to move the game, to have their biggest game that they cover on their network at noon. So I love that. Plus, Ohio State can win early, and we sit back and enjoy the rest of our Saturday afternoon and Saturday night, seeing what other teams won or lost or whatnot. So you got a chance to get your win in early. Whereas now, everybody would have played earlier that day. And sit around. Now, Ohio State make my Saturday go good. I've been waiting all day for this kickoff. Make it worth my while. And now it's a Sunday morning. You wake up. Whew, it's a late night last night, but at least we won. Whereas you get your early, I know it swings both ways. I see both sides of it. Because last year when Ohio State lost to Oregon at 12 o'clock, I was miserable for the whole weekend and even for the whole week. So I was upset. So, hey, there is no right answer. There's no wrong answer. It's what you prefer.
You talked about this a little bit earlier. Question number 4 coming up. You talked about NIL. You said you and Archie Griffin talked about this just a little bit ago, last week while you guys were golfing. But, NIL, how about this that just came out? Keith, your thoughts? Is C.J. Stroud, well, he's getting a nice little NIL deal. As he just got a brand new Bentley valued at $150,000 as part of a new NIL deal.
He's going to be very popular on campus. He's got a Bentley. It's winning. Wow. I love it. I'm happy for him. Don't you make the car, don't let the car make you.
What do you do with that Bentley? You drive it around campus, or you get that baby home and you tuck her in and keep her nice and shiny?
The campus police will find it in a hurry if he's not parked in the right spot at the right time.
You're going to have it dropped off?
Yeah, a Bentley at, how old is CJ? 20? 21?
I say 21 is my guess.
Oh, wow. A Bentley.
That's 21. I had a car that you had to manually roll the windows.
Yeah, I know. I remember those days. Good for him.
His car is valued at most people's houses. So,
yes, indeed.
All right, in question number 5, it's the Lee's Famous Recipe Bucket of Questions. As we close out the show here this afternoon, Keith, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has said that they are considering shortening the NBA season, of course, due to, a lot of bigger star players pushing for more rest games. So as a counter to this, potentially shortening the season. I don't know what shortening it to what would be, but you being a elite former pro athlete, when you hear today's athletes pushing for shorter seasons, although be it in another sport, your thought is what?
I don't like it. I'm a traditionalist also. The NBA season's been 82 games for a long time. I was not even happy with the NFL moving from 16 to 17 games. But I know 16 was perfect number. 82 is a good number. And are they going to talk about cutting down their pay? Do they want the same money for less games? That's how they're one of the reasons why. Now, this is like a pro ownership answer. That's how they're able to pay the big bucks, because they're getting 41 home games a season. Now you want to cut, whatever that number is, cut it by 5 from 41 home games to now 36, and then everybody's not going to make the playoffs. But what happened to the love of the game? No matter how much money that you make, because I love the, guys making money, even on the collegiate level, it has to be, you said C.J. Stroud's got a new Bentley. Those things are great, but they're things. Why are you having those things? Because of the love of your sport. Get out there and want to do it. So they're talking about giving them rest days. And, we touched on a little bit off air. I save my money up to go see my favorite player. I got my kids with me, and let's go see this player. Let's say we live here in Dayton. You drive over to Indianapolis or Cleveland, on a Thursday night to see your your son's or daughter's favorite, NBA player play, and they're sitting there in street clothes. Well, is he hurt? No, he's just taking a day off. What? Man, we've been saving up for the last couple of months a year to go to this game, and now he just needs a rest day? Are you kidding me? That's almost the equivalent to your favorite musical group coming to town, and they can't sing these particular songs tonight because this player, the lead singer, is not singing. But the band is there. They're going to still perform, but you're not going to hear your favorite singer sing. Somebody else is going to sing his parts tonight. Really? I don't know if I like that. You know what I'm saying? That ain't what I paid for. I paid for my ticket to see this particular people do this stuff, and they don't show up. And we understand if you got laryngitis. We understand if you got a broken ankle, you can't play. Injuries we understand, but just because I'm tired, like the OJs are going on tour. This is their final tour. One of my favorite musical groups. And hey, if Eddie Levert doesn't sing because he's tired, why? But I just finished singing in Chicago last night. I don't want to sing in Cincinnati or Dayton tonight. I need a day off. But the band's going to be there. They're going to perform. And that's what happens. The team shows up. LeBron James backup plays. Or Luka Doncic's backup plays. He's going to play point guard. Somebody's going to be out there point guard, but it just won't be this guy. I have a problem with that. Outside of injury, you should want to love the game enough to play. You check the records. A lot of players I grew up playing alongside and with and looked up to, they played as many games as they could play physically. If they were hurt, they didn't play. You can look at Michael Jordan When didn't he play 82 games outside of an injury? Never. If he wasn't hurt, he was playing. Larry Bird, if he wasn't hurt, he was playing. So this generation of players, there's no days off. Why? That one kid who you can inspire is there that night, and you're sitting in street clothes. You're not hurt.
That's why Charles Barkley named Anthony Davis
Street clothes. Yeah.
And that is the Lee's famous recipe bucket of questions.
Awesome. Well, we've had a great show. Guys, man, the football season is right around the corner. I know it just ended. Didn't we just have a Super Bowl? But hey, times is coming. But but as a former player, I enjoy this time off. So let those players enjoy the time off. They're working hard. They're getting ready. Like I said earlier on the show, I was at Welcome Stadium for the unveiling of the groundbreaking, the dirt ceremony for Welcome Stadium. But there's a lot of high school players there, from Thurgood, Marshall, Dunbar, Middledale, maybe a few of the high schools that were there. And I told the young fellas, it's time to get better when nobody's watching. Nobody's watching. It's time to get better. So Ohio State has their football camp, I think, wrapping up today. So, hey, it's never too early to think about football because we never stop thinking about football. But in the meantime, you've been listening to the Keith Byars radio show presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. And get out and do random acts of kindness for your fellow man. Hey, and write to your local politicians and national. We got to do something about these gas prices. So let your discomfort be known. So this is a phone call away. Just let them know, hey, I'm not happy. Do something about it. Get these oil companies to come down off those prices of gas. $5, that's a joke. Okay, that's my political moment. See you next time.
It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, right here on Dayton's home of the Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN.